Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But y'all, first let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. Now, with that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla. We closed at 356.90, and as you can see, we've made a pre-market high of 368.30, and as you can see right here, we kind of knew we could have trouble around the 368.52. So it was trading in this zone. It has broke down from the support that we had marked here, only to come back down to about the 50 EMA as of now as our support area. So I always say, y'all, where are the trouble places for Tesla back to the upside? Let's say if by chance we get back above this 365 area, we could possibly have trouble. I'm going to use the 20 EMA right now at the 365.88. Breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble again. 365.88, 366.84. Breaking that brings us to back around the 367.81. Should we break that level, 368.30, and then here at the 368.52. Now, should we break that 368.52, just know we could possibly have trouble 371. However, there's something that could stop us out in between here. Breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble again, 371.61, and breaking that level, 372.62 could be a rejection area for us. Now, if we break that 372.62, 374.36 could be another rejection area for us for Tesla. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are possible rejection areas or resistance areas. Now, back to the downside, if by chance we break under this level of 363.81, there's a few layers of support here. The ATR trailing stop 363.41 is a support area, and it's right at a line that I had marked as a support or resistance area. So I would definitely watch that area, 363.41. Should we break that level, 362.79, breaking that brings us back to around 361.69. And if we should lose that area, there's 360.98, and there's a few layers of support. So let's say 360.01, 359.63, 359.10, 358.48, 357.99, breaking that 357.11, and if we should break that 356.41. Now, what would be interesting is under this level here of 357.11, right? Because something stopped us yesterday around this area, so that's where we kind of like bounced and moved back to the upside. So should we break this area today, 357.21 area, which was the ATR trailing stop on the 1 hour. That's why I say that is strong support or strong resistance. Should we break this level here, we could very well continue declining to 356.41 down to this area of 355.78 or 355.83. Now, what will be interesting is this 200 EMA to 355.27. Breaking that brings us back to around the 353.44. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are possible areas to the upside and to the downside. And y'all know I say so often, not financial advice. In this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, right? We're looking at the SPY. We closed at 587.73. It was trading in this zone. As with Tesla, it broke out of that only to come down. It looks like it's under the 50 EMA, under the 5 EMA. So are we going to come back down to this 200 EMA? That's interesting, right? Something has stopped us right here in this area, which is the 592.62. I like to see when it come down, it bounced off of a level of support. Is it going to take us back to the upside, or are we going to continue declining? So where are the trouble places for the SPY today? Back to the upside, 593.30. We're going to use this 50 EMA, 593.95, and again here at 594.17, which is right where our 5 EMA is as of now, 594.17. If we should break that level, 594.96. Again here at 595, let's say 595.32 right here. And if we should break that area, possibly 595.97, breaking that level brings us back to this zone here that we were trading in, which is around the 595.45, 596.71. Our ATR trailing stop is forming at that 596.71. So in my opinion, that's going to be strong resistance for the SPY should we get back to the upside. Now, if we should break that again, keep in mind we could have trouble somewhere around let's say the 597.67 and again 598.02. So those are possible rejection areas for the SPY. It looks like we're trying to decline. Our 5 and 50 is crossing on this 30-minute chart. However, we have not this candle has not closed, so that's something to be mindful of. This could still be a support area for us. Now back to the downside, losing the 592.62, we could very well come back to 591.57. Breaking that level, it can bring us back to 590.89. breaking that brings us back to 590.16. breaking that level 589.61, and if we should lose that level, 589.20. breaking that 588.92, and again 588.38. breaking that level brings us back to 587.58, and as you can see, that was a support area for us here that we bounced and moved back to the upside. So I would definitely watch the 587.58 if I was trading this SPY today. Again, not financial advice, y'all. I say so often, y'all. This has been an interesting market. If you get in at the right time and out at the right time, it could be a very profitable market. Let's say that. Now, we are looking at NVDA. We closed at 134.81, and it was trading sideways. As you can see here, we have moved up and made a pre-market high of 143.84. That is our resistance area. As of now, looks like we hit that, came back to the downside, but y'all see that 20 EMA is our support area right at a 141.88 area that I had marked. So that is our support as of now. Resistance at around the 142.42. breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again. 142.90, breaking that. 143.32, should we break that level, 143.56, breaking that. 144.17, again here at 144.65, and if we break that level, 145.02, 145.39, 145.80 could possibly be rejection areas for NVIDIA. Now back to the downside, let's say we lose the support at 141.88, 141.64, 141.42, down here close to the ATR trailing stop. 140.92 could be a strong support area in my opinion. 140.82, that could be a strong support area. Should we lose that area, there's another layer here at 140.68. So in my opinion, for NVIDIA, this is going to be a very strong area. Let me see. Yeah, this is going to be a kind of like a strong area of support. Should we lose that, we still have support here at 140.38. breaking that, we can use the 50 EMA at 140.26. breaking that, 140.08. so there's a few layers of support here. Breaking that 140.08, we can come back to 139.72 and possibly have trouble there if we lose that support. 139.12, breaking that brings us back to around 138.78, down to 138.46. Now if we break that 138.46 area, we can come all the way back to 137.46. keep in mind, anything can stop us out in this area right here. So y'all know I say trade carefully. This has been an interesting market. So let's look at AMD today just to see where we are. We closed at 112.86, pre-market high 117.05. as you can see, it too was kind of like trading in a zone. Let me see if I can mark that. It was trading kind of in a zone for us, and support is around this level of 115.79. resistance is around this level of 116.32, where the trouble places back to the upside. If we break this 116.32 area, we could possibly have trouble. 116.60, again here at 116.85, 117.05, 117.36 or 117.37, breaking that. 117.58, and if we should break that level, 118.25, again here at 118.66, breaking the 118.66, 119.08, or that's 119.03, and breaking that 119.37. now back to the downside, if we lose this area of support, the zone that we've been trading in for AMD, 115.79, we can come back to around the 115.57, breaking that. 115.46, our ATR trailing stop is around 115.29, which is really close to an area that I have marked at 115.20. if we should break that area, 114.82, breaking that brings us back to 114.61. should we break that area, 114.28, and breaking that brings us back to the 200 EMA. as of now, we're going to use that as our support area. 114.02, breaking that brings us back to around 113. 83. So if you are trading AMD today, those are possible areas to the upside and to the downside. We do have a few inside day candles, Disney being one of those, and we have already broken through that trigger, and that was a support for us, which was that 112.48. Our target was 112.91. We made a pre-market high of 113. Now back to the downside, the trigger to the downside, 111.18. Should we break that, 110.13 is the target for Disney. So if that is something that you trade, it is an inside day candle. AMC is interesting. It's an inside day candle for today. Back to the upside, above $4.01. We have 409 as the target. To the downside, under $3.45, which is kind of like where we've been resting here as support. So right at the 200 EMA. So under this $3.45, we have $3.39 as the target for AMC. It is an inside day candle. J&J, Johnson & Johnson, is also an inside day candle, and it too has reached the trigger to the downside. It's interesting to see that. So the 151.94 was the trigger, 151.97. 151.94 was the target. So to the upside, 153.72 and 154.10 was the target to the upside. However, we have already reached that downside target and found support at the 151.60. So if J&J is something that you trade, I say trade carefully. Now Palantir is also an inside day candle, and as you can see, where the trigger was 125.71, target is 127.94. Now to the downside, under 122.88, downside target for Palantir 120.90. So if that's something that you trade, it is kind of like finding support at a level that we have marked. We have it will need to get under this level of 124.62, which is kind of putting us like, let's say 124.23 area, puts us under this gathering spot over here. So we could very well come back, continue declining to this downside target or trigger area. So if Palantir is something that you trade, y'all know I say trade carefully. In this market, anything is possible. Let's look at Meta today. Did I have? Yes. Let's look at Meta today just to see where we are. We closed at 643.58. It kind of was trading in the gathering spot, falling down to find support at the ATR trail and stopped, kind of like the other charts, right? Back to the upside, it will need to get back above 651.55. If we break that level, we could possibly have trouble again. 652.47 again here at 654.04, breaking that 655.22, breaking that 657.06. If we should break that level, 657.64, and breaking that 659.07, 659.89, and again here at 662.82. Keep in mind, anything can stop us out in between this area here. Now back to the downside, it looks like we're losing that area of support at the ATR trail and stop. Keep in mind, this candle has not closed. So as of now, the 648.31 is going to be a support area for us. Breaking that brings us back to around 646.99. And I'm just going here to where these candles are. 640, let's see, let me go back. Around the 647.10 or the 646.99 area could be a support place for us. Should we break that level, we can come back to the 645.83, and under that we can come back to around this level of 643.31, which is not far from the 200 EMA at 642.67 and a previous line that I have marked. Y'all, I like to see those where, you know, I would mark a support area and a moving average will kind of meet at that same place. So it shows to where it's important to know where your trouble places are by knowing your support and your resistance. If price have been there or stopped at that area before, strong possibility it's going to come back to that place again. So 642.60 is a support area for us. Under that, 641.47. Should we break that, 640.42 is a support area for Meta. Again, not financial advice, y'all. So this is what I see when I look at the market, y'all. There's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging at times is trying to figure out what strategy works best for you and having the discipline to execute your plan. So I hope that you set your stop losses or whatever it is that you choose to use. Make sure you have the discipline to execute your plan, get in at the right time, out at the right time, y'all. So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.